Spartan Nation, what's happening? Guess who's back in the fold? Q the Woodshed, Cam the Super Cool Spartan, my brother Brian the Super Mad Spartan, and back on the set, Quaffo the Super Connected Spartan. What's good, Quaffo? What you been up to?
Man, some life changes, in the personal life. So we getting that all situated. Got to watch a lot of the MSU hoops run, which we'll talk about. So that's all good. It's just winding down in terms of MSU athletics because we had the basketball and hockey runs, and spring football will end here pretty quick, and probably talk a little bit about that. But yeah, man, good to be back on. Chopping it up about all things MSU.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good to have you
Coming
back.
yes, good to have you back in the fold here, Quaffo, Super Connected Spartan. We've been holding down the fort here for you these past couple podcast sessions, but three amigos back in the building. Back in the building.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it, gentlemen. We're gonna talk about the wrap up here for MSU hoops, the March Madness part here of the show here. MSU, the ISOM made it to the Elite Eight, and we all had aspirations to make it to the Final Four. They probably could have made it, but things just didn't go their way. So, what are you guys' thoughts here of MSU's run here in this year's March Madness? We'll kick it off with you, Quaffo, since you haven't been on the show here for a minute. What are your overall thoughts about Spartan hoops?
Yeah, I mean, on balance, for a team that was picked fifth or sixth in the Big Ten preseason, you win the regular season by a couple games. You get to the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament. You get to the Elite Eight. They said Tom was done, said his team was trash. They went out and had a heck of a season. I know everybody wanted him to get to the Final Four. I wanted him to get to the Final Four. I wanted him to win another national championship to differentiate themselves from some of these other schools. But on balance with what they had, that's a very strong season. They hung a banner, which is the goal of the program, right? To hang banners. So they were able to hang a banner. Regular season in this crazy expanded Big Ten. You had an emerging star, obviously he's leaving the program, but he's always a Spartan dog in Jace Richardson. That we didn't see that coming. We thought, oh, he might be okay,
right,
a 2-year player or something like that. He just balled out of control. So they really, when you think about the talent base and who was left at the end of the Final Four, right? All the 1 seeds advancing. MSU they squeezed, and if it's a wash rag or towel, they squeezed almost everything they could out of the season. That's why you saw the emotion from a lot of players. I mean, that's a heck of a run. They perform the best they could have against Auburn? No. Were they good enough to beat Auburn? I mean, they would have probably had to play a lot better than they did. Auburn obviously wasn't invincible, but they would have had to play much better than they did and contain Broome a little bit better. But all in all, man, is might have the swagger back a little bit because getting to that Elite Eight run, they were right on the doorstep, and that's pretty good, man. Only one team cuts out in the net, so you can't look at it as. I mean, I think it was a very successful season. I don't know about you, Brian.
Ditto. I remember we did a podcast. I should go back and listen to. We kind of did the hoops preview, and I don't think any of us were like super high. A lot of unknowns, a lot of I don't knows. But like you said, Izzo got it together. The team gelled, and it made for it probably one of the more satisfying MSU runs I have experienced in probably since Cassius Winston was here. And even those teams, they were good, but that last year sometimes it was a little bit of a slog. It got a little up and down. But this team, they were fun to watch. It's good to see the young man grow. From the beginning of the year, he kind of didn't know the roles. And then it became, oh, everybody has a role, everybody's playing. And then it became, okay, we need somebody who's going to be our guy. And then Jake's became our guy. And I remember you guys talked about the bigs, the center position. It was solidified. It was solid. And so we can't, overall is a good season. Of course, disappointed we didn't make the Final Four. Had a little bit more shooting. I think we could have made that move because we weren't. Our room was. I feel like this overall. Yes, they were better, but if we would have hit some of our shots, if we had a couple more threes here and there, I think we could have made some noise. National championship. I don't think we were quite there, but I think we could have made the Final Four. But overall, like you said, it's been a good season.
Yes, I'm going to ditto what both you guys said. Overall, very good season, especially coming from, I would say, to your point, Brian, coming from the Cassius Winston era, the last time we made it to the Final Four. It was good to see this team excel from where they first started. I think, Brian, when we did our hoops preview, um, I have mentioned when MSU had first started the season, it was a lot of question marks. I remember when they were in the Champions Classic and they got beat by Kansas, there was a lot of negative energy and press coming out talking about, does MSU even belong in the Champions Classic anymore? Can we get like UConn in it or, uh, another so-called, blue blood program? So people was already, shoveling dirt on Michigan State, from like the second game of the regular season. And then when they went to Maui, that's where things kind of took off from there. And they pretty much, for the most part, with the exception of the hiccup they had on that West Coast trip, they pretty much they dominated the Big Ten. It was a very good thing to see. And, they blew up Michigan both times, on the way to the Big Ten title, which always good to, beat down your rival. And they kind of stubbed their toe a little bit, in the Big Ten tournament, but that was fine. I don't think most people was rooting for Izzo to really, gun it anyway in the Big Ten
We got our
tournament.
banner. We're good. We could rest.
Just
Yeah,
hang
right.
banner. Yep.
Right. So getting to the Elite Eight, yep. I agree that was disappointing to see that, MSU didn't get to the Final Four, but they got as far as they did. They just came up against a better team, and if they would have made a few more shots, who knows what would have happened. But it was definitely a joy to watch with this year's Izzo's this year's edition of the Izzone. So no complaints there. But I do want to ask you guys, when you watch the Elite Eight, and I'm also going to kind of preface this question, as well, because it's been a long time since the Big Ten hoisted a big, a national championship, and that was MSU, quarter century ago, back in 2000.
Very long time
We've
ago
had
now.
we've had some Big Ten teams make it to the Final Four, even make it to the national championship game, but no Big Ten team has won it all. So I just want to get your
Can I
guys'
say I don't
thoughts
care
on.
about that? I care about Michigan State winning. I don't care about the rest of the Big Ten. Screw
Well,
them. I want
I
Michigan.
was
Michigan State can be the first and second team to win the Big Ten in the last 25 years. I'd be very happy with that. I don't care about
I agree
Purdue,
with
and
you.
damn sure don't care about Michigan.
I agree with you, Super Mad Spartan. But my question is going back to Michigan State, because that's where I was putting it back to, is what do you think that MSU missed in the Elite Eight to get to the Final Four, number one, and then number two, what do you guys think MSU needs to win another national championship? So it's a twofold question. What was missing in the Elite Eight, and what they need to hoist another banner?
I mean, outside shooting was missing. We just talked. I mean, Brian just talked about it. They just couldn't hit shots all year long. That was a problem. That's going to catch up with you in modern basketball at any level. I'm in a lot of gyms because of my kids playing basketball, like in this AAU circuit, and you watch the range of which young kids can shoot from all the way up into the NBA. So the range, if you can't shoot, and you can't score at the rim, you have difficulties. Mid range is not dead, but it's just maybe on life support. So the fact they couldn't hit outside shots made it real difficult. Most of the season they were able to get through it because their defense was just suffocating. So defensively they were good enough to win the national championship this season defensively. But offensively, if Jason have it going with those crazy shots, Jaden, overall was probably an okay season, but he probably needed to step up just a tad bit more. From the outside, that's what he was good for. That's kind of what his skill set allowed for, and he just didn't make a lot of shots. Obviously, Trey Holloman didn't make a lot of shots in that Elite Eight game. So it's a make or miss league. I mean, basketball is a make or miss sport. I mean, shoot, like you make them in, they make some of those threes, they probably win, they advance. We see what happens, in San Antonio. So they're not far away. I mean, the question is what do they need? I mean, we saw some of the coaching staff changes and the work they did in the portal, not going crazy, but just getting some pieces around the edges. Still recruiting high school people. Shout out to Iz for that, because I was
Yes.
talking to you guys pre-show about them. My daughter is kind of in the early stages of all that type of stuff, and these coaches right now are acting crazy. They're really just going after portal folks more than I'll get on a soapbox for a second. Going after portal folks a heck of a lot more than high school recruits, which to me is crazy. The lifeblood of college is supposed to be high school, but coaches want the easy button, so they're just like, I'm just gonna get this 22-year-old from some D2 program or lower level D1 and grab them an easy button this way to get to the Final Four. I mean, look at the national champion, right? The Walter Clayton was started at Iona, right? So like, it's
Yeah, for 2 years, I think.
yeah. So I appreciate is sticking, and some people message board warriors and people that are not close enough to this to see this, like, he needs to do this.
Message
You need to
board
go.
warriors.
You need to empty the bag and do this. It's like, no, they've identified people that fit the system, that fit what he wants to do. They had a really successful season. They just added a kid today, right, from Florida Atlantic. I mean, so like they have, and the two freshmen that come in are dogs. Like Cam Ward, I mean, they're good players. So if we keep Cohen in the fold, I don't know what's going to shake out with Trey. We make sure we keep Cohen in the fold. McCullough is a beast. I heard he was killing cats in the training sessions. He redshirted obviously this year, but he was playing really well in practices. Towards the end of the year,
Yeah,
they're
word of the
right there.
street was that he was out playing Zapata at the end of the
Yeah,
year. That's the I'm sorry to steal your thunder
yeah.
a little bit with word on the street, but that's what
No,
the people were
yeah.
saying.
You're right. You're right. So they have pieces. They'll be competitive next year. They'll need to make sure they can find someone to score. But again, those freshmen, I'm not saying they're Jace Richardson, but they're going to be good players. Like the kids they're getting from DMV. The DMV does not joke about their basketball, and these two kids were some of the best coming out of that whole area. So that Maryland, DC, Virginia. I mean that area has hoopers. Obviously, Kevin
Oh
Durant, all that
yeah.
stuff. So these kids are coming from there, and they're good. So we'll be fine. And Jeremy Fears is still here. And the kid, Glenn, that just came over that just signed with us, is a AU teammate of Jeremy Fears from their Indiana, is it Indiana Heat Day, Indy Heat AAU club. So they're gonna be fine. They're on the cusp. Izzo doesn't have much time, right? He's 71. And most of his contemporaries have already left the game. So it's got to be next year, probably. I would
Now
say,
or never.
yeah, it's probably gonna be next year,
Yeah.
or it's just not gonna happen. But they're not far away, right? They got to the Elite Eight and won the conference championship by 2 games, 3 games. So they're not far away. They're not going to be a program under Tom that's going to go raiding other schools for a whole roster turnover. It's not how it's going to be. And again, I appreciate that. So all they have to do, right, get a little bit more fire from outside, work with have the folks that are coming back take another leap like they did. Understand that bitter taste. You have a great Florida than Jeremy Fears. He's gonna have to be a better outside shooter. I'll tell him that when I see him around. Like, bro, you gotta shoot that thing. When
At least
they
be
give you the
aggressive.
shot, you gotta shoot it. Yeah, like you can't just live at the rim. You gotta shoot those outside shots. So, but they're right there. I mean, I don't care about early preseason projections right now, right? Because so many things are in flux. But they're right there. They're like they almost were in the Final Four this year, so they're so that makes them amongst the 8, 10 best teams in the country. So they're right there, and it's the luck of the draw, the luck of how the bracket works. They're right there. I don't feel maybe like we did a couple years ago that it was like so far away from them even getting back.
Yeah, to piggyback what Quaffo was saying, I agree. We're not that far away, and in terms of what they need to get back, just like I said, keep. It's just for me. I think how it work. It can work for Michigan State in basketball, even in football. You're gonna have to get your high school guys and develop them, and you're gonna have to supplement your team with smart transfers. And I think Tom Izzo, that's what he's done. Like you say, he's bringing Caleb Glenn. Obviously, we need another wing. Frankie Fiddler's gone. He's graduated. So we need someone to fill those minutes, fill that role. This guy is not a slasher. Well, from my understanding, he's a 3-and-D guy
Yep.
and athletic. He can get to the cup, which is something that Michigan State did really good this past season, is getting to the hole and getting fouled. He's not a great free throw shooter, but, it still helps. And then I think to get back next year, we're gonna have to get some backup guards, at least one, because we don't know if Trey's. Well, pretty sure Trey's not coming back. That is what it is. The Spartan dog. I wish he would come back because I think he had a really good role for the team, but he wants bigger and better. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
So what does he need to do? He needs to keep doing what he's doing in terms of recruiting wise, and continue to evaluate talent and to change what needs to change. So I think one of the bigger things happened this year. We saw Izzo evolve. We saw the offense evolve. We saw this. We saw how the assistants kind of put their touch on things along with Izzo, and it worked beautifully.
Yeah, I really like the staff. I mean, the staff that they did a really nice job this year. I mean, people like to, you know, say what they want to say about coaching and stuff like that. Those are folks that have not been in the fire. Like, it's not easy in this day and age. The reason Tom, my estimation, the reason Tom went off, that would have been the week before the elite Sweet 16 Elite 8, where he got mad at the reporter asking about Portal and this, because he knows people are tampering. He's just from the old school, like, La Cosa Nostra. He's not snitching. Like, he knows people are going. Clearly, people were going after his players because they landed somewhere like that. So that doesn't happen overnight, folks. I'm here to tell you, everyone that's listening,
But
there's
Tampa's
clearly
name of the game
tampering.
now.
Yeah, there's clearly tampering going on. He's just not going to do it, right? He's not going to do that stuff. So, again, folks need to appreciate what they have with Coach. I mean, I know this is not a swan song for him, at least I don't think this year, but maybe it is this year. I don't know. But just appreciate, because not everybody does it that way. Not everybody has the culture we have. Not everybody, does things the right way, man. They're really doing some shaky things. And again, like you said, Brian, never gonna hate a kid for bettering themselves. For a lot of kids, for 90% of these kids in this new NIL thing, the money they make in college is probably the most they're gonna make their whole lives. And so,
Yes.
if they have a better opportunity, I'm never gonna. And it makes sense financially, and it makes sense on the court and post career. I really care about the kids post career. I mean, yeah, I like wins and banners and celebrating and have it out, but I want them to be good human beings, both the men and women that compete at Michigan State beyond their playing days. So to do that, again, you maximize the dollars you can right now in this era, and so not gonna be mad at that. But yeah, some of these coaches that everybody's like, oh hey, like for instance, the gentleman that just won the national championship is detestable. Like that, like the stuff
Talking
that
about
he
Florida's
alleged.
coach?
Yeah,
Look him up.
I'm not even gonna mention his name because I'm not trying to get sued. But like The stuff that is terrible. I'm just terrible. Like the stuff that he's alleged to do is really bad for a leader of young men, and it just got kind of swept in the rug during all the hoopla, the Final Four, and then beating Houston, and now he's got a natty, and that kind of stuff makes me sick. Like he got the same amount of natties as Tom Izzo, who does it the right way. I'll get off my soapbox. Sorry.
No, that's good, man. That's good. And again, I'm just going to ditto what both you gentlemen said. I mean, you guys know more of the X's and O's of basketball more than me. I just go off what I see. So I'll just say that I think that MSU could use probably a little bit more shooting for to make it past games like what we had in the Elite Eight, because we did miss probably more shots than I thought that we would from the earlier games, in the tournament. So yeah, having someone who can consistently, put the ball in the bucket, especially from, behind the arc and, inside the arc, that'd be helpful. But yeah, to you guys' point, yeah, MSU is right there knocking on the door. They're not that far off. They're maybe just a couple of pieces away. I mean, even watching the Final Four games, specifically, watching the Duke-Houston game, I honestly thought Duke had that game, all tied up, wrapped in a bow, and ready to go into the national championship. But they got popped within the last 2 minutes of that game. America's basketball darling,
young
Cooper
guys.
Flag. America's darling Cooper Flag.
Look here.
He
ain't gonna be no Cooper. I hate Duke, and I got a good friend who's a Duke grad. I have a Coach K bobblehead in my office because I lost a bet because our boys couldn't beat Duke. I hate Duke like nobody else, but Cooper Flag can go. That dude is a hooper. Like there will not be no slander. He missed a shot. I mean, he can. Like the fact that he even took a shot, he should be in high school. He should be going to prom in a couple of weeks. That dude, like, he reclassified and was on the biggest stage. He's gonna be player of the year. And forget all the hype. Like the fact
he already
that
is.
The NBA guys, right? Like when he played with them last summer, they were like, "Whoa, like what? Like he's that dude. Whatever team he goes to is gonna be very happy. He's that dude."
Oh yeah.
He wasn't hateable either. I didn't find him to be hateable. I was like,
no.
But those Duke guys, you could find one person don't do like, I don't like that guy.
No.
Cooper Flag was like, oh, he kind of cool.
Cooper is that. Cooper is that dude, man. Yeah.
Oh, he is. He is. Only point I was making was that to the point that MSU is not that far off, because even in the Final Four, with Cooper Flag, he's that dude, but he missed the shot and they lost. So I'm saying that
stuff before that shot too. Now, like,
I mean, there was
utter meltdown, utter
they had meltdown. They had a young man's meltdown. That's what happened in the Final Four. We're not talking about, it's not Duke podcast, but they hadn't really. Duke had been coasting like the whole season. I don't think there's too many games that they were like challenged. They had to work on their, hey, we need to win this game in like the last 2 minutes or make these plays. Right. And the other team is kind of battle tested.
Yeah.
And just to kind of going back to Michigan State, one thing that you saw, and this is why I don't think we're so far off, the last few teams were all very similar.
Yep.
Michigan State's similar to Auburn. Houston, Michigan State's similar to Florida. They're similar to Houston. So we're not that far off. We're there. We have the formula because they got almost to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Agreed. So yeah, I guess I agree with both you guys that we're not that far off, and this is the window for Izzo to really get it done, so he can, go off into the sunset with his second championship. So
yeah, really would love it for him in the program for him to get that second one, man.
I wish Jace was coming back, but go make that money.
Go make that money,
man.
Go make that money.
Make that money, man.
Yes, I'm not. Yes, I'm not mad at all at Jace deciding to take it to the next level.
Real Spartan.
Absolutely,
I haven't heard any Spartan fan mad about it because they were like, "Oh, he gone. He should be going." It should be like push him out the door.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, the only bad part is when it comes to the NBA draft is seeing these talented kids go to more than likely some terrible teams. Like, well, Cooper Flag gets drafted by the Washington Wizards or the.
He shouldn't
I
have
mean, yeah,
resigned. Just that simple.
he'll get paid for sure, but it's like, wow, why can't the Pistons
Resign after
draft
4 years. After the
Cooper
year bid,
Flag?
go win. I don't know how that happened, but I take it.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're in this position, yeah, for sure.
All right, but anyway, let's move forward.
Yes, sir. Let's get a little football talk in here, gents. You know, we got the spring ball going on here. You know, the first phase of the upcoming season is coming. You know, actually is in motion now. I mean, it sucks that there's no spring football. You know, spring game, but you know, it's not stopping the train from moving. So, what are you guys' thoughts on the spring ball right now? I know that from the articles I've read, some of the things I've seen online, looks like everything is on and popping. I know that um, Coach Smith had brought in his old quarterbacks coach, I believe, from Oregon State to help out Aiden Childs and some of the new receivers that are, you know, in play. Looks like I've heard some good things about them, and looks like the team is really, you know, gelling. You know, trying to get that sour taste out of their mouth from that 5-7 season from last year. So, what are you guys hearing or thoughts? Please share.
I mean, it's spring ball. I'm glad there's no spring game because, look, we're trying not to get people hurt and have catastrophic injuries. It's a violent sport as is. It's fine. It's the new
Mm-hmm.
flavor across the country. Like they could do what they could do, and I might suggest this for I don't know what they're gonna do. They need all the practice they can get. They didn't make a bowl game. Let's be honest. They don't need to do no exhibition for all of our, oh, hey, it's a spring game. Like, no, like they need to use that day to actually, practice, and they don't need to show off anything. Use all the time you have. What they could do is like some kind of fan fest or whatever, have some of the players interact with fans. That would be kind of smart. I might actually call some people tomorrow and be like, yo, guys, let's do that. Because that's really what it is. People like to go because they want the autographs, they want the posters, they want to get close. Sometimes they can't get that close during the regular season. They get close to the field, all that type of stuff. I get it, but this is a different day and era. Like we were saying pre-show, this is not your father's college football or college athletics. So this is straight up business, and you need to make sure you protect your assets. So last thing you want, and again, I know it can happen in any kind of time or scenario, but you want to eliminate risk. So no need to have pads and flying around in the spring game. Just have a regular practice. Do what you're gonna do. Your receiver room is always shout out to my guy Hawk. They're doing what their expectation is. Nick Marshall looks crazy strong and fast again. So I'm glad we kept him in the fold. There's a young man he played at Central last year. He's a local product, Evan Boyd. His brother Ethan played here for a while. Evan
Oh
is
yeah,
he
yep, I read
he
about
made a
him.
nice catch the other day. Watch out for him. He's gonna be a little something for hopefully in a playing rotation, but he can play. Obviously, the transfer receiver they got. I mean, they offensively should be dynamite. Offensively, I got young Jace, also the local kid here, Corizio, the running back. So they have a lot of offensive weapons. It'll be key if the line stays healthy. Again, that's why you don't play a full spring game. Just go ahead and let them practice, let them get the reps. Otherwise, defensively, secondary, corner should be okay. I know we lost Chuck Brantley, but we have some depth back there. My guy Malik Spencer looking healthier, which is good. We were conversing not too long ago, just trying to get him see where he's at, and he thinks he's going to be ready for a big year. So I'm looking excited for that, and I think this is a prove it year for the program in general. You know, if they cannot win 7, 6, 7, 8 games, make a bowl, show some upward trajectory, there's going to be some questions asked, and I think they know that. Everybody in the building knows that. So,
Everything's already kind of set in for the fan base, so they have to win.
Yeah,
and especially with them raising prices. And the spring game might not be, something I would always go to, but it's a big deal for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then another big fan thing is, all right, we're having another game at Ford Field, losing the home games. People aren't feeling that. You want them to raise ticket prices and lose a game, so they have to show something this year. But
but on that, I just want to address that last part about that last home game. Everybody complaining about it. Oh, we're losing the home game. And believe me, I live in the area. I'm around the games. Home games are a big thing for the city of East Lansing and the surrounding area. No question about it. But by the time you get to after Thanksgiving, and for all these people talking, I would like to have them ask, were they there the last game of the season? I know I was there the last game of the season, and there was only about 14,000 of us there. There was more people at the Michigan State basketball game than that last football game. And so, I know the product wasn't great and all that type of stuff, but they're complaining about this. I have said, and I have told people that are in position to do something about it, I said they should play that last game at Ford Field every year and make it an event.
I would personally love it because I loved it the time we went to Ford Field. It was a great time.
You're climate controlled. You're downtown. You're trying to build this partnership with the PSL, with the schools down there, with the coaches. It makes so much sense to just do that there every year. And so you just build into it. And so I was happy to see it. And I know people, I've been a season ticket holder for 68 years and that. No, I'm not trying to hear that. I keep going back to this, and it's maybe just because of the proximity I have to some of these. This is a new day in college athletics. You can like it, you don't have to like it, whatever. This is what it is. And by moving that game to Ford Field, you help revenue, you help recruiting, you help brand ID. It will be filled. That place will be filled no matter what the record is. It's going to be filled because we have a lot of alums in that area. It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So people complaining about it. I didn't see people there, the last home game this last year. It was snowing and blizzard. Nobody, there was 14,000 people there. If that, it might have been 8,000 people. So what are we talking about? Stop complaining. People love to complain. Oh, it's not like the old days. It's not like the old days. Man, them old days ain't coming back, bro. Golly.
Boy.
To quote The Wire,
that one annoys me.
Is they the old days?
We lost the home game.
Quaffle sound like you, Brian. Quaffle turned into the Superman Spartan for him.
No, but he's right. I was just repeating what people were saying about why they're mad. I don't, like I said, I'm all for the Ford Field game. Yeah. But no one else helps for all this complaining, winning.
Yes.
No one's going to care. They will go to Alaska to watch a game if we were 11-0.
The Alaska Bowl.
Be serious.
MSU at the Juneau Stadium in Juneau, Alaska.
And we would be there in the green and white. Freezing.
Yeah.
Show is cold. Show costs a lot of money, but I'm sure glad Michigan State's winning.
Facts. Winning cures everything.
Yes.
Yeah, for the football team. You talked about the offensive line. The defense, we have some questions. We don't know. We lost. Defensive depth wasn't great last year, and we don't know what we have. We have young guys who are going to have to step up. We have second-year people in the program on the defensive line that we're going to have to trust the coaches. I just can't even call it because Smith. They're running a submarine right now. There's information, but it comes out here and there very, very slowly. So we'll
the ranks is tight. It's close ranks. It's not
close to the vest.
It's not like days of yore. It's not like the old days.
Money Gun Mel out there paying people to come to the campus and they go other places. No, I just bring this up. I just thought about it. SU has recruiting violations from Mel Tucker. Obviously, he wasn't doing it the right way. How you gonna be recruiting violation and got nothing from it?
No
If we gonna
comment.
cheat, can we cheat and win?
No comment.
Sorry.
I plead the fifth. No comment.
Let's move forward. I'm sorry, Ken. What do
Uh,
you hear with the football team,
No, that's
Ken?
good.
What's
That's
your
good.
prediction?
No. This is good, man. This is good stuff here. It's good stuff. I'm still laughing at Quaffo. Anyway, yeah, I definitely love that the return to the Ford Field, for the last game of the season. I think it brings some juice, to the
yeah, exactly.
program, and having it during, Thanksgiving weekend too. I mean, what? Going to
Yeah,
Ford Field? Because, even though we didn't know you back then, Quaffo, for 2 years ago when they did it,
yeah,
me and
yeah,
Brian were there.
yeah. It's a great
Actually,
event.
that was our first year doing Q the Woodshed. That
It
was our first year
was.
doing Q the
That was the first
Woodshed,
season,
and
yeah.
we
Mhm.
did a live, Instagram thing talking about the game. And even though MSU was god awful terrible, I mean, it was still a live atmosphere.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of
yeah,
upside to doing it. There's not a lot of
yeah,
downside, in my estimation.
yeah, a lot
There's
of
not a lot
upside.
of upside.
And it's good that they did it,
Yeah,
because considering us coming off the 5-7 season, it gives, the Spartan nation, the football fan nation here, something to look forward to. Like, wow, we're turning the Ford Field, end of the year, during the holiday, a holiday weekend. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's a good brand builder, as you guys said. And if we're going into that game, with more wins, I mean, that's even better. Because looking at MSU's schedule for this coming
right.
up season, it doesn't look as bad as it like last year. I mean, I think this year's schedule is pretty manageable compared to last year. There's really no gauntlet of teams, from Oregon to Ohio State to, whomever. And then, it's a pretty manageable. I mean, to me, just not knowing anything about the team right now, just looking at the schedule as it is, I they should at the very least win 6 games, 6 to 8 games. I think.
Yeah.
We'll see. We have plenty of time to dissect that
Right,
over the summer.
right. But like you said, Jonathan Smith he is having the team right now in a submarine, which probably is good for them because they just need to focus on football, what they need to do, and so come late August, early September, they humming. So
Should be
yeah,
all business. All business
yes,
for y'all players that I know that I talk to. All business, folks. Playtime is over. It's all business this year. I'm dead
yes,
serious. I'm serious as a heart attack. Y'all got to win these games, man. Like football is a very important piece of the athletic department across the country. Doesn't matter what school you're at. If you have a D1 football program, it needs to be thriving, and this is no different. And so we it's all business, man. It's all business.
yes. Got to make dollars. Got to make sense.
Yep.
Especially
Yep. Yep.
raising
Yep.
ticket prices too. Because I did get a call from the football department, maybe
I
like
know
a
it's that
couple
time
months
of year.
ago. Yeah. So like, hey, Mr. Williams, I did get your, because I just sent an email just saying, hey, that I just want to, inquire. So I got a phone call, and they were like, oh yeah, here's my name and number, and call me back in the summertime, and get your checkbook out.
Yep.
Like, we'll
Checkbook and
see.
gold bars.
Right, right,
Yes.
right, right.
Not gonna be cheap.
All right, so let's get to the fun fact here. We're gonna kick it back to basketball here, since we're
Okay.
ending the thing on the basketball note. So I think I got a good question for y'all that's gonna really stump y'all this time.
Okay.
While you were out, Quaffo, Brian, he was
On the
actually
streak.
on a roll. He was on a streak with
Okay.
the fun hoops facts. So I thought of a
Maybe I'm the
question
problem.
that
And
stumped
maybe
him.
like Taylor Swift, I'm the problem. Sorry, Taylor Swift. I ain't paying no royalties. You get what I was saying, Taylor. Like, I ain't paying no
So,
royalties.
all right, gents, here's the question. So, the leading scorer of the 2000 MSU championship team was Morris Peterson.
OP.
How many points did he average during that season?
Can I phone a friend?
You might call him OP.
It's
I'm about to, I'm
I have
about to,
well,
I'm about to text
it's
his
multiple
teammates like,
choice.
hey, bro, y'all remember how much he scored?
It's
Hold on.
I
Let's
made it
see.
easy. I made it easy for y'all. It's multiple choice. So
Okay, damn, I
so
won't.
so here it is. So
I won't phone.
A is at 16.8 points per game. B 20.2 points per game. Or C 24.7 points.
I'm gonna go with A because they were a very balanced team. Matter of fact, I had lunch with one of them today. They were a very balanced team. Man, they were a good team. Godly. Yeah, I'm gonna go with A.
Man.
16. 16 sounds about what Mo P. I mean, not that Mo P couldn't get buckets. Obviously, he made quite a substantial amount of money getting buckets at the professional ranks of basketball. But I
Yes,
think for
indeed.
that team, I think it's six. It's A for me. 16.
What
What
was B
say you,
again?
Superman Spartan? 20.2 points per game.
I just feel like the strength of A seems like the safer bet because 20 for a can't. What's the last time someone averaged 20 for Michigan State? No, I'm going with
Didn't
A. I'm gonna
Cassius?
piggyback Quafo because he's connected. He knows what it is.
I
He almost
literally
had a
had
man on
lunch.
speed
I
dial.
had lunch with his teammates like today. So so, one of his teammates. So
Is that your final answer? You still have
I'm
time
going with
to
A.
change
No,
it.
I'm
I'm
going with
wrong with
A.
Quafo. Going A.
I'm
It's
going
like a
with
safe
A, man.
bet.
And the survey says, ding, ding, ding. You guys got it right.
Yeah, man. Didn't even have
He
to
20
phone
is
the
averaged
steep in
friend.
college.
16.8 points a game.
20 is a
The
lot of
year they won the
points. If you,
championship.
I mean, to average 20 points for a 6-game run, there's got to be some 30-point games in there. You got to really fill it up. So, um, that team they needed him, but like they had so many other weapons that they didn't need to, he didn't need to score 25, 30. He needed the key buckets, right? And they were just well rounded as a team. Thus, they won the whole
Yes.
thing because they were well
There it
rounded.
is. Last Big Ten and only Big
Yeah.
Ten team to do it so far. We'll get back there one day.
We just not count
Yes.
Maryland. Maryland's in the Big Ten, and they won it in 2002.
Not the Turtles. That's the Terps.
When they're in
Crab
the
five.
ACC.
I know
But
where they were. I'm saying they're in our conference and they won it. So if we want to claim it, it's still a long time. Either way, it's a long time.
Yes.
I had a lot more hair back then. So
and yeah, to
Same.
your guys' point, when I looked up this stat, they were a pretty well balanced team scoring wise because
Charlie Bell.
yeah, Charlie Bell averaged about 12 points a game and Cleves averaged about 12, 13 points a game. So
Jay Rich. Yep. I
but
mean, this
yeah.
is a great. It's a great
The
team.
squad.
We got to work. We got to work on them. I got to get some of them are a little less talkative than other. We got to get that whole group together, man. I know we were working on that.
There
That's
we go.
behind the scenes for you guys in front of the camera. We need to work on. They're just so important to the fabric of this community and this school. Like we need to give them more. They got a lot of flowers this year, but I would like to have them be able to tell their stories. So we need to work on that.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good summer podcast.
Summer project. Come on,
Yes,
guys.
yes,
Come
yes,
on, guys.
yes. So, but yeah, Brian, you continue that streak. I got to think of some harder questions
That's
now.
Squawk Bop riding the coattails today.
I just needed a break. That got my mind right. Got my mind right. Stop sipping on that Hennessy, and I was able to get the answer right.
Well, all right. Another classic podcast in the books here. Cue the Woodshed. Make sure you check us out on YouTube and Spotify and Amazon Prime. Hit that subscribe button. We'd love to hear from you guys. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. So we want to hear from you guys. You know, we love the feedback here. So with that, I'm Ken, the super cool Spartan. My brother Brian, the super mad Spartan. Quaffo, the super connected Spartan. We'll be back at y'all soon. Go green.
Go white.
Go white.